What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of the PSNpartypodcast. I am your host, the Marvel snapping, Destiny shooting, clicking heads, ripping and shreds, BMG, and I am joined by my co-host, the Jim Ryan hater, PlayStation fake gamer, the American soldier, Sentinel. How are you this evening, sir?
Oh, hey, how's it going?
All good. And we're also joined by the GM, CEO, COO. Will play absolutely anything and eat anything if you put it in front of him. I'm a Ghostbuster, Ash. How are you this evening?
I like that second bit there, to be fair. I mean...
Wow. Jesus.
We have started a couple of minutes late just because Sentinel's trying to tell me that the anime Dragon Balls, whatever it's called, isn't a cartoon, which it clearly is a cartoon. Looks like a cartoon. It is a cartoon. I wouldn't know the difference between that and SpongeBob SquarePants, but you know, that's just the way it is.
Your eyes are too close to Jim Ryan's balls all the time. That's why.
Toss a coin to your Jim Ryan.
Wow.
Oh, Valley of Plenty.
That's just because you're uncultured. That's all it is. You're just uncultured.
If you haven't watched a good anime, you've not lived life, mate.
That's exactly right.
The closest to them sort of cartoons I've watched is Pokemon back when I was like still in nappies.
Oh no, Pokemon is like the edge of anime. It is close to a cartoon. Like you've got to. Pokemon is like the McDonald's of anime. It's like manufactured crud. I like Pokemon. Like I say, I'm not going to complain about Pokemon, but in terms of anime, Pokemon is as Americanized nearly and cartoony as it can get without being a cartoon. So
this is a good example.
Good anime.
Ash gave me a good idea about that. Cartoons are like fast food, whereas anime is fine cuisine.
That's it, exactly.
But it's still a cartoon.
No.
How is it not a cartoon? It looks like a cartoon.
Let me ask you.
Things are hand-drawn, colourful, look like a cartoon.
No, that's like saying a burger from In-N-Out is the same as a $200 ribeye. It's not the same.
Well, they come from the same animal, so yeah, it's sort of the same.
Oh, Jesus. There is no hope for you.
Well, like I said, the closest I've watched is Pokemon, like years and years and years ago. I've never watched any other cartoon, anime, whatever you want to call it, since.
You know what? The closest I would say that American cartoons have gotten to Japanese animation would be Exo Squad back in the day.
Exo Squad? What's that?
Exo Squad was in the 90s. It was a war between humans and Neo-Sapiens. A creation of humans, of course. And it was basically a war that spanned between Earth, Venus, Mars, different planets in the solar system. It had actual main characters that get killed in the series. Very dramatic, very emotional. And it was a good series. So I would say that's still technically a cartoon, but that's as close as I've seen American cartoons get to being anime.
I'm gonna have to get BMG on it, like an anime binge. Okay,
there you go.
Yeah, that's not going to be happening. I'm too busy watching The West Wing, which is got me hooked.
You outlive, mate.
Wow. Don't worry, I've got plenty to watch to keep me going. I don't need to watch cartoons now. I'm too old for that. Anyway, tonight's topics include the PlayStation 5 Pro leaked, Spiderman2 release date leaked by the voice actor. Rest in peace, Lance Reddeck, who has sadly passed away. Witcher is rebooted, the multiplayer game that they had in works a long time ago, I believe. And also video game 20 questions. Will the panel get it this week? We shall see. But before we get into all the good topics in the world of PlayStation, what has everyone been playing? Ash, we'll go with you first, my friend. What have you been playing?
Not a lot, because I've been pretty ill these last the last week I've been down with the flu quite bad. But I started playing Theatre. Is it Theatre Rhythm Final Bar Line on PS5 or a PS4 version? They didn't do a PS5 version. I picked that up and I've been playing that. That's really, really good. I'm quite enjoying it. It's a rhythm game for like all the Final Fantasy music. So pretty cool.
Nice.
300 plus songs on it to work through. And it's got like a story mode where you have like an actual party of characters and they fight enemies while you're doing the music, and they all level up and get stronger, and you can equip items and summons and stuff like that. It's really cool. If you like Final Fantasy and the music of Final Fantasy, I highly recommend it if you've got a console that can play it. Like, I think it's on Switch and PlayStation. I don't know if it's on PC, and it's definitely not on Xbox, but I don't know if it's on PC either. But really, really good. Lots of content on it. And other than that, I played another game, which is probably the worst game I've played in about a year. And the review of that will go up after this episode finishes, this live podcast finishes. So I'll not talk about that. You can watch that video and laugh at that. But that's it. I've been very much out of action over the weekend since probably Thursday. I started feeling unwell Friday. So Friday onwards, I've been sort of laid up, doing nothing. I've been off work and stuff. I binged a lot of Walking Dead. I'm now halfway through season 10 of Walking Dead, so I'm nearly at the end.
Is that a cartoon?
Yeah, definitely 100% a cartoon. Yeah. But other than that, like I say, I've just played that one Final Fantasy game. Oh, and I downloaded a few things off PS Plus ready to play. So I've downloaded Medieval, Little Big Planet 3, Earth Defense Force, and I picked up Digimon Survive as well. So I'm ready to go in my gaming now. I'm feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, feeling it. Medieval, that classic game. I remember playing it originally on the PlayStation, and I think it was about a month before it was released, when it was re-released on the newer consoles. I was at, it's called Insomnia in Birmingham, the NEC Arena. I went there, took my sons to there, and they had this whole big giant thing set up. You had to walk in this castle, and there was like the statues of the characters and stuff, and you got to play like the first level of the game, which it still plays like the original, just looks better.
Yeah. I remember if you played the demo, you get his hat or something like that, his helmet.
That's
in the game. Yeah. I can't remember. I do remember that was like the draw to play the demo though a bit back.
Yeah, trying to coax people in, but yeah, it was good game. Sentinel, what about you? What have you been playing? Nothing PlayStation, I bet.
Not really. It's all good though. I mean, it's like
yeah.
I wanted to play Resident Evil 2 and 3, of course, back to back, because I pre-ordered Resident Evil 4 remake, and it comes out Friday morning, I guess. And I love Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake. Really love how they redid everything and just made it look phenomenal. But I just got stuck in Fallout 4 again. I started playing. I was just going to play for a couple hours, and I've been playing through the Far Harbor DLC and through the Nuka World DLC, and I played through it and beat it before, but it's just so alluring, I guess. I've been playing it for like 3 or 4 days, pretty much from the moment I pick up the controller to the moment I finally turn my system off is like 7 or 8 hours straight. I can't help myself, Fallout is that great of a game, so I'm kind of like, shit, I really need to make time to finish or play through again Resident Evil 2 and 3 before Resident Evil 4 remake comes out on Friday. So it's a bit of a struggle.
Have you played that? Is it Fallout 76? Is that something you're into MMOs wise?
No, I played it for a couple days. I played it for a day, probably when it first came out, and then a year later, a guy that I used to hang out with was into it also, and I played through it, and I just did not like it at all. Fallout's kind of one of those things that the worst of people comes out kind of shit. So I prefer to be in a Fallout world by myself. Or it's, you know what, it's like I'd love a Fallout game if it could be you and teammates, and it's like PvE, not PvP, because it's like people are dicks. That's why I don't play Fort shit anymore. So I'm kind of like I distance myself from that type of stuff, and that's obviously that's one area where PlayStation excels, is they give you high quality stories that don't necessarily rely on your interactions with other people. So, I appreciate that from PlayStation, that they give you great experiences and great stories that you don't need other people to kind of flesh out, like how Fallout 76 kind of relied on that interaction with others to be a big part of what the game was. And it's not that way now, obviously. They've added NPCs and stuff. But the 2 times that I went back and played, after that I was like, nope, I'm completely good. I just have no desire to go back at all.
Yeah. I've seen Fallout's a series I've never been into. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about it, but Fallout just never seem to have grabbed me. I do hear that 3's better than 4.
Yes. Did you story wise? I guess have you played? I guess you played the older ones, Fallout 3, or you never touched them.
No, I played I'm going back many years now. The originals that were,
on
that
PC or whatever.
Point and click. Them I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed playing them, but I just didn't. When it came to Fallout 3, Fallout 4, I just never, for whatever reason, it just didn't appeal me to pick up. The Elder Scrolls side, though, I love Elder Scrolls. I've played all them, done all them, and that side of it enjoyed. Touched ESO Online, did a lot of that. I own most of the content, but again, it just seemed to be reskinned and the same thing over again and again. The same sort of mission: go and fetch this, go and kill that, go and do this ritual, and I kind of got bored of that and fell off it.
Yeah, I get it. And an interesting thing obviously about Fallout 4 is the Fallout 3 and New Vegas shooting mechanics are shit compared to current generation games. So obviously when Xbox, and I know this is a PlayStation show, but it is kind of relevant. When they brought all these teams together, they started they said, hey, it's software, you guys need to fix this. So they came in and fixed the shooting mechanics, and that's why the Fallout 4 shooting mechanics are a hell of a lot better than obviously well, and it happened before Xbox acquired them, obviously. But you see this type of collaboration a lot more now that Xbox has picked them up. Because if you remember, ZeniMax Studios or the publishing umbrella was private, so you never really understood how much money they were pumping into this or that. But a good motion that they did was, of course, id Software helping the Fallout franchise by making Fallout 4 shooting mechanics a lot better. And it's good to see a lot of collaboration between studios that are under the same umbrella. You don't, and that's something I kind of feel like PlayStation needs to improve on, is you don't really see that a lot with PlayStation. Like, you do to a certain point, like how Days Gone had Easter eggs for Siphon filter, but you don't really see a lot of these franchises necessarily cross over. Outside of the studios, like you'll see some Naughty Dog Easter eggs in The Last of Us, but you're not going to see any of that stuff in something like Infamous, which technically they're happening in the same time frame. So, or you don't hear about these studios necessarily helping each other; they're all by themselves. So that's kind of something that I would like to see PlayStation do going forward.
Yeah, there are studios that I say do help out other studios, and then
like Blue Point Games and stuff. Yeah,
they have bought more. I think that's what they've sort of some of the latest acquisitions they've made, more support studios to help the infrastructure, like Bungie. They've got the Destiny IP and the new IP they're working on, but they've also got all that knowledge and expertise in the live service side of things, from the way they do it to the infrastructure. So they've kind of gained that. Nix's, that they do help with all the PC porting side of things. So takes pressure off the teams having to try and port it. They can use them. So, but I think it's one of them. It's more of a slower pace, but I think that'll improve over the next few years as these studios are integrated more, because obviously they're quite relatively new. It's only been in the last 8 9-8 months that they've kind of acquired these other studios. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it improves. Like say Xbox, they've got it down to a T for like the ports and studios helping other studios, but they also use a lot of third-party developers to come in and help them. Like we've got with the Initiative, they've got Crystal Dynamics helping them with Perfect Dark and things like that. So
and a lot of PlayStation stuff is handled in house. You're exactly right.
Yeah, and I think it's also PlayStation probably do the same. Obviously we're not privy to them as much as we are on the Xbox side because Xbox is more public with it. But I'm assuming they probably use external third-party developers and studios and things to help them with some games. But yeah, it's something that definitely can improve upon.
Yeah.
What have I been playing? Well, as usual, on my Marvel Snap, trying to get them levels up, trying to get my rank up. Not been on it as much over the last few days. I'm only getting a couple of games in a day instead of my usual 10 or 20. So slowing down pace-wise, just 'cause I've been busy with work. Obviously, Destiny 2 Lightfall dropped, so I've jumped back into that. Finally fixed my issue with Warlock, so back on that character. I was on just before the show and jumped off and then watched a bit of The West Wing because it's an awesome show back from the 90s. Everybody should watch it. And I also, because we've got... what's it called? Jedi Survivor dropping 28th of April, I think, next month, yeah. So I've kind of jumped back into Jedi Fallen Order on the PlayStation side. So I picked that up to try and do a bit of that. A bit more Spiderman. Just finishing off like bits of the DLCs there. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for me, to be honest. It's... Destiny's taken up most of my time, and depending on the time we get done tonight, I'll probably jump back on for an hour,
right?
If I get time. But yeah, you should all be playing Destiny. It's the best live service FPS game going today, and I'll help you run through it. I'll help you.
I'll play it for a bit if you help me run through it. It's not one of those games I've got. Like I like MMO style games, but I've got to the point now where I need to play with people because I don't like playing them on my own.
Yeah. I always play with people. Yeah. But it's like
give it a go. Yeah, give me all the good stuff.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should definitely play. Definitely play. They've had because now the way they've integrated all the story into it, the cutscenes. You have like the seasonal stuff because you get the season pass if you pick that up. You get like a full campaign with the season now, like a full side story next to the main campaign, but it all links together and it's good. It's good. It's really, really good. And just the quality of life improvements, the changes they've made, things that they've added. There's always something to do. They've made some of the stuff that you can do a lot harder, a bit like a horde mode type style, where you're trying to do something while defending an area and moving on, and you just get swarmed with enemies. It's really, really good. It's a lot better. It's kind of hooked me more into it than it ever has, to be honest. I know Lightfall's kind of got a lot of people complaining, saying, "Oh, it's not that good. There's not much in there." But with all the content from all the every expansions and all the stuff they keep adding, there's just constantly something to do. You never in the game and thinking there is nothing for me to do. There's always something working to better gear, better armor, higher light level, raids eventually, because there are competitions which anyone can do. When a raid first drops, first team to actually do the raid, you get actual championship belts custom made with your name on. And they only do them for the first team that actually do the raid, get sent to your house, and they do a whole press thing on it. It's really, really good, some really good stuff. And then even if you do all your an actual proper belt, it's quite cool. Looks like a wrestling belt, but Destiny.
Congratulations, you are a sad bastard. Here's a belt.
No, these raids, I'm not at that level. I play a lot of Destiny, but I'm not at that level. But literally, it could take you 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours to maybe get through the raid. And you can come out of it, and you've got so many days where you've got to jump back in, so you could come out, have a break, or jump back in so you don't lose any progress. But you get these people that will just sit and play until it's done to be first to do it. To be world's first. Well, yeah, it's good. It's good. Right, since we've got all that out of the way, let's get into some topics. Sorry, were you going to say something?
I kind of feel bad because I didn't include any PlayStation games, and we're on a PSN podcast.
It's all right. We know you are.
I did play Ratchet and Clank. I did play Ratchet and Clank on the PS4 for the first time on my PS5. Very impressed, and it's pretty much sold me on getting Rift Apart. You know, the Rift Apart game with Ratchet and Clank and the new character. Because I wasn't really a Ratchet and Clank guy before, but I said, oh, fuck it, I'll try it out. And I'm playing through it, and I'm actually enjoying it. So, Ratchet and Clank has sold me on the PS5 game Rift Apart. So, there you go.
They need to bring back Jak and Daxter. That's what we need.
Definitely.
You're never getting that back. That is never coming back.
We don't need no Ratchet and Clank. Jak and Daxter's better. So.
Wow.
No, but I'm saying I wasn't a Ratchet and Clank guy. My wife got me Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart for the PlayStation 5. Absolutely gorgeous game. You can tell that they're actually using the power of the PlayStation, like when you're literally zipping into different worlds through a portal. It's all instant. You can see the individual hairs on the heads and stuff like that. It's really, really good. It's a fun game. There's like this gun you get. It's like a teleportation gun. You fire it at them, and it drops like a dinosaur from the prehistoric era on the heads and kills them and stuff. It's quite fun.
Nice.
Really, really good game. It's not as long as I thought it would be, but everything that they've done in it just looks beautiful, plays beautiful, and uses all the features of the DualSense as well, which is really good.
Nice. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, takes full advantage of it, like playing Astro Bot, where they give you pretty much just the demo for the DualSense. This takes full advantage. The different weapons feel different. The triggers can lock and different pressures for different guns. The haptics in the rain and walking on different surfaces. Yeah, it's really good game. Highly recommend it.
Nice.
Right, yeah. PlayStation 5 Pro in development could release in late 2024. This is from Insider Gaming from Tom Henderson. Insider Gaming sources have confirmed that PlayStation 5 Pro is in development and could release within a tentative release date of late 2024. Insider Gaming previously reported that a new PlayStation 5 with a detachable disk drive is scheduled to release later this year. It's understood that this new model will phase out the current PlayStation 5 to cut down on production and shipping costs, in spite of the widespread reports that this is not the PlayStation 5 Pro model. This is just the beginning of the new hardware coming to PlayStation users this generation, said one source when talking about the detachable disk drive console. As for what the PlayStation 5 specs will entail, details are limited. However, a recently published patent by PlayStation architect Mark Cerny, do not let him near your children, suggests that Sony Interactive Entertainment is looking to accelerate ray tracing performance in video games. Just like with the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, we can generally guess pretty confidently that the PS5 Pro will have increased visuals, performance, and speeds. But as for leaked details, we'll have to wait until later date to release those. So I do believe that they actually have, Insider Gaming, they do have more details that they're not ready to drop. Whether that's because there's a good chance that they're going to change, or the by release and then would reveal their source. But yeah, so main question is really, is this a surprise? With the way the pandemic's gone, how hard it has been to get hold of these consoles because they haven't been able to get the silicone and chips. Do we need a PS5 Pro? Is it something that people are going to jump on just to have better ray tracing? Or would you rather just keep the PlayStation 5 till the next PlayStation 6? Sentinel, come to you first. What do you think?
The biggest problem isn't the technical limitations of these of these systems. The problem is a lot of these developers don't know how to fully optimize this. So I kind of liken this to training someone how to drive a race car, right? You give them a Ford Cobra SVT. You're talking like 500 horses, and you're like, oh, here you go. And they're not even used to driving this yet. And then you're like, oh, you're upgrading to this new car that's 850 horses. And they're like, hold on a second, I'm not even used to this one yet. But you're putting them in the cockpit of the new car, and it's like you gotta let them get used to that fucking Cobra Mustang first before you move them on to the Bugatti or whatever else you got ready for them. And it just, I mean, how many true next-gen games have we seen? And I'm not even talking about Xbox, because they have the same problem, right? How many true next-gen games that have already released have we seen for the PlayStation 5? How many? You could probably count them on one hand.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, and so my whole problem is, the pandemic, the lockdowns, all that shit, that delayed everything 2 years. And they're already, it's like this generation started in 2020. 2024, they're like, oh, new consoles. It's like, no, how about you give these developers, where everything was locked down, people were removed from work, these projects were almost completely sidelined. How about you give them another 2 years to learn how to fully optimize for the consoles we have now before you give them a pro version that's more powerful, that can do even more? It's like, let them optimize for this first. Then let them optimize for that. Are people going to buy these? I'm sure there are going to be some people that have to have the best tech out there. They're going to buy them, but do you need to buy them? No. I mean, it's like, again, you haven't even had games that are pushing, like, and I use this for an example. God of War 2 pushed the PS2 as hard as it could, right? The Last of Us pushed the PS3 as hard as it could. The Last of Us Part 2 pushed the PS4 as hard as it could. You need games like those before you worry about a PS5. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, and it's another SKU that they're going to have to make a game for. So obviously they're going to have to make it for the PlayStation 5, and then they're going to have to make it run a bit better, or however they do it on the PlayStation 5 Pro. But again, I just don't think it's something we need. The consoles we've got are good. We have not seen, and I still think to this day, whether it's Xbox or PlayStation, we have not seen a game fully utilize what these consoles can do. Yeah, we're seeing faster load times because of the SSD. Yeah, the games look better, but we shouldn't be having to choose still, even whether it's PlayStation, Xbox. You still have to choose between resolution mode or performance mode. We should have 4K 60 running. All games should be running 4K 60. There shouldn't be, choose one or the other, or this can only do checkerboard. This can only do
optimization from devs, because like the same game will run at 60 solid on PC without even using like the top end graphics card.
Yeah.
And I understand their problem. They've got so many SKUs to have to make for nowadays. So they could have PC, they could have Switch, they could have PlayStation, and you've got two Xbox SKUs. You've got PS4, you've got PS4 Pro, you've got Xbox One, you've got Xbox One X. When you think there's a mountain of different versions that have to do, and I don't blame them for not doing it, but also it's just a waste, because like I say, there's very, very few games we've seen so far that look like they're utilizing the technology. Even Ratchet and Clank, and that looks great and it plays great. It's going to come to PC soon. It doesn't utilize everything in that PlayStation. Do you know what I mean? The SSD helps, but it's an odd one. I don't, and I see Stubbs is on about. He thinks they'll phase out Series S. They won't. They can't. You can't phase out a good chunk of your console, but it's all optimization. And the problem is these big giant publishers like all the platform holders like Sony and Xbox should be doing more to assist devs with their sorting the games out before they come out, or just drop the last gen. But the problem is, because consoles were so hard to get hold of, there's not as big a number of consoles out there I think they were hoping for. So people are holding back and saying, "Oh, we'll keep putting it on PS4, we'll keep putting it on Xbox One," because there's a player base there that isn't on the new consoles, because there hasn't sold enough yet.
Yeah.
I do agree with that though, Stubbs. They could offer. I don't think they'll phase out the Series S, but I definitely think if you buy a game on the Series S in the future, they could just say you can play this on the Series S version, or you can have the full fat Series X version via cloud. I think that's a definite possibility for the future, especially if they're going to be putting like Call of Duty on like switchers. If they can do that, then they can put better Xbox quality on Series S. So the cloud will change the future. That's it yet again though. It's not optimized enough, or it's not given enough attention by devs and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and PlayStation have an advantage over Xbox in that regard, because PS5 has a less expensive version, but really all they did was strip out the disc drive. It's not like the Xbox Series S versus the Xbox Series X, where there's a notable difference in the system's power and all the other tech shit that people know. It's the Series S is like the little brother, Series X is the big brother. The PS5 disc drive, no disc drive, it's the same system. So it's like the PS5, they could drop last gen, but it's essentially the PS4. If they drop off last gen, I think that would be good for the franchise, or for the PlayStation going forward.
Yeah, and have they actually, like, this rumor as such? Does it actually say it's going to be more powerful, or does it just say it's a new console? Because we seem to be forgetting Sony are the masters of releasing slim consoles. The PS1 had a slim, the PS2 had a slim, the PS3 had a slim, the PS4 had a slim. This could literally not be a more powerful machine. It could have like slightly better. Like, I'm not saying it won't be better, but it won't be like a 1X to a 1. It could literally just be a slim model, because, dear God, you can live in a PS5. It's huge. With all with the wings on the side, like, if you stand it upright, it looks like Cell's helmet. It's got that removable tray.
Oh my God!
They could literally just have you seen a PS5 with those custom side plates, the black ones, where they're snug to the console,
where it's rounded off? Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous. Like, it looks so nice. They could literally release a thinner, smaller console, because if you open up a PS5, there's a lot of space in there.
Yeah. There is.
Make it air better, because obviously there's a reason there's a lot of space, air space in it. But if they could get the airflow better, it could just literally be a smaller version, like a slim with like cheaper parts and slightly better. I saw this earlier about the PS5 Pro, but it doesn't seem to say anywhere there's any improvement that I can see, or I've missed it.
No, the one that's coming out this year, late this year, is the revised model of the original PlayStation 5. So it's the detachable disc drive. So obviously, if you want a disc drive, you buy it separate. So it's going to be a digital console. And it's going to be smaller. The one that they're saying is coming out in 2024 is going to be the Pro. The Pro is going to be the one that's going to have the better ray tracing, performance, visuals.
I just don't see the point, unless they're literally just making it slightly better to match the 1X. The Series X, should I say? Because like the Series X does have a slight resolution advantage and a ray tracing advantage when implemented correctly.
Yeah. You think about it, it's going to be PS4 to PS4 Pro. I think that was 4 years when they released the Pro.
But the difference was the PS4 and the Xbox One were both out of date well before they launched. Whereas like the Series X and the PS5, they're not as good as PCs, but they're a lot closer to PCs than a console ever has been in a long time. Like the PS4 struggled with a VR. It had to have you had to have the PS4 Pro to get the most out of the PSVR, in my opinion.
Yeah. You're not gonna have much. I don't. I agree. I don't see the point in it. I don't know what, and because if PlayStation do it, Xbox are gonna do it because they don't want to be left out of selling new hardware that's even better. But I don't see the point in it. The way this generation started with the pandemic and everything, and games on either console do not use the consoles to their full ability. Don't bother with a Pro. Just make the games.
It's a cash grab. Whereas the PS4 Pro and the One X, like I got a One X, right? And I played. It sounds silly, but I played PUBG. Oh my! It was like a different game. You had so much foliage that you never had on the original game. It looked and it played and it ran amazing. Whereas at the moment, unless this thing's going to run everything at 4K 60, like proper 4K 60 with ray tracing, what's the point of it?
Yeah. This is it. I'd still see the point of it. We shouldn't have it. It shouldn't be something that's even being considered. They should just
I'm going to
wait
hold out that this is really, it's just a crossing of lines, inside the lines, and it's probably just a slim, like a proper trimmed down fan. I just don't see that there's no reason for a Pro next year. If they were saying 2026, I'd be like, yeah, that makes loads of sense. Or well, not even then, but
well, no, 2026, you'd be looking at new consoles, 6-year life cycle.
I think we're getting to the end of console sort of life cycles. Like I say, I think the generation thing is going. Xbox have already sort of pushed into the fact that it's just Xbox now, and we're just making boxes. We're not doing gens.
See, PlayStation like the numbers.
Nintendo have broken every sort of generation for years, and the Switch is still outselling modern consoles and stuff, and it's going strong. And so I don't think they'll push a new console out next year. Might be year after, but who knows?
Yeah.
But
while they keep selling, you keep it going. It just seems pointless. I understand, Xbox, PlayStation, they both do the same. They look at when things become cheaper, make it smaller because they get parts smaller and cheaper, and release a redesign. No change in power. Look, you've got these big consoles. We're now bringing out a smaller one if you want it. And most like over here, we've got Game. I think you've got GameStop there, haven't you, Sentinel? They have the whole right. You want the slimmer version, smaller version. Trade in your old console, and you get a big, huge chunk of money off to get the smaller version. But there'll be no change in power-wise. I just don't see the point in a Pro. No. We don't need a Pro.
I'd buy one because I'm an idiot. I'd still get one. I don't want one, and I hope they don't. I just want it to be a slimmer. Do you remember when Xbox did that one, and they revealed it by lifting the old Xbox cover off to show?
Yeah.
With the PS5, they can do that, and there can be like 3 of the slims underneath it. It's that big. They get like 4 people on either end to lift the PS5 up. They can have like a whole range of mini PS5s underneath. It'll be great.
I think Ash makes a good point about console gaming. Essentially, you're running out of road is what you're doing. Because you look at smartphones. Like I have a smartphone where I can pretty much every game that Rockstar released for the PS2 that you needed discs for, I can have on my iPhone. I can play them with an Xbox or a PlayStation controller. You're now having the ability to play Xbox games through a TV. So as far as console gaming goes, we're probably looking in the end of it. I'm not saying it'll end this generation, but it's going to get to the point where you don't even need consoles to play PlayStation games or Xbox games. You'll have apps built into the TVs. And I think that's where we're getting at. But as far as for this generation, I see them going slim because with the PS5, that motherfucker's big. I mean, shit. It's like, it's basically like one of those mini fridges and shit. You got to turn it in sideways, just to get it in the door. So it's like the PS5 and about the airflow, about there being a lot of space, that immediately raises red flags for me because since the PS4 version or since the PS4 generation, PlayStation has been notorious for their system sounding like fucking jet engines. So if they make the system smaller but they have the same components, that means you're talking about forced air, right? Which is going to be louder.
Yeah.
So they could have a PS5 or a PS5 Slim, and it could be smaller, but now you have forced air with fans kicking on every 15 seconds, and it sounds like you're outside of Chicago O'Hare Airport.
The
It's
PS5 Jet
ridiculous.
Edition.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, just
like
you know what? I think people wouldn't give a shit if they included like the little pilot's helmet and the mask and stuff you could put on while you're playing it. So you
get a little wing, bag on your chest. And...
Yeah, you listen to the Maverick Top Gun music, while you're playing your system, so you act like you're on a jet.
I just don't see it because like the consoles aren't any cheaper at the moment. Like the current, like the big boys, like the Series S is cheap, but we're not on about that. We're on about the One X, the Series X, and the PS5. They're still full price. They're still selling like hotcakes. You still struggle to get them at times, especially around holidays and stuff. I just don't see it. There's no real need. I mean,
and then they're going to do away with it too
later. But then, if that's the case, they should have made the VR work with the original PS5. So.
Well, and then they're doing away with the one SKU. We're discontinuing the regular PS5. Now you have to buy that.
And another thing. Why would they come out saying, we're going to make a new PS5 while people are still not getting them yet? Because people will just say, I'm not going to buy a PS5 now, I'll wait. That's something like shooting yourself in the foot, isn't it, really?
Yes.
Yeah. But it's also, the fact that what really annoyed me about the PlayStation 5, that I had to Google to find out where that little pissing screw was.
Yes.
Yeah.
I complained. When I got my PS5, I started a complaint saying, this fucking thing's been open, there's no screw.
Yeah.
You sent me a repurposed one. And then I realised, no, you have to twist the base to get the fucking screw out.
I mean, I guess that's smart if you know where to look, but no one knew where to look. I had to look it up online. I was like, what the hell?
But why?
I don't even screw mine in now, though, because I've got it on the bottom. So I laid mine horizontally. I didn't want to, I dared. It's so large, it'll like knock a hole in my wall if it falls over. If I stand it vertically.
I had to lay mine down because it was standing up, and with the ears, one of my cats thought it was another cat, so I was like, shit, I don't need a cat fight over a PS5, so I'll just lay that shit down.
Oh, God's funny, Jesus.
Whoever thought to not make it symmetrical is a dickhead? That's all I'm saying.
A stand. Who? Let's make it so you've got to have a stand and you've got to read instructions and get a screwdriver to screw a pissing screw in the bottom of it.
That was Mark Cerny. Probably his wife is still making him sleep on the couch over that shit.
Jeez.
I mean, the Xbox is just a box, but my God, you just lay it down or stand it up, it's fine.
See, I like it. I think I hope they don't change the Series X. I think it's perfect. That is a perfect looking console. It just looks good. It's nice, it's clear, it's simple, and it just stands there. It's awesome. Absolutely
they need to start selling. Do you know, like they used to do the face plates for the 360? They need to do like plastic covers that go over it, official ones for games, and release them. You can even do like those flimsy plastic ones that fold up in like collector's editions. You pop it off, you slide it over. I'd be all over that.
Did you see them little jackets you could get for your Xbox controllers?
Yeah.
put it in a little hoodie and things like that. It's like, what the fuck? But people buy them. Crazy. People do buy them. But the Series X, definitely the better design, definitely better looking console. PS5, that is one big bad boy. I watched the breakdown video, where the guy sat there and took it apart.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
It was like an operation, wasn't it? The poor guy, like it looked like someone off camera was like, "You make this look easy," and he's like, with his little gloves on, he's like, "Oh God, what am I doing?"
Yeah, and the fact you've got to slide the plates off to get the dust out the dust catchers, and it's like, but you have to be very careful because you'll scratch all your console if you take them off just slightly wrong, and it's like, no. I don't need this. I wanted a better looking console. The best thing about the PlayStation 5 is the DualSense.
Over the top, don't you? And just goes. That's
it. That's it. Yeah, it's simple, easy. But a redesign. I think obviously after all I think the redesign, what is going to be the slimmer version, that's probably pushed more because of the amount of complaints of this giant thing where you have to have two people carry it in for you. It's not good. But
let's see what you could have won.
That's it. So you drop that on your foot, you're fucked. Right, let's move on.
Christmas opens Christmas present, it falls on him.
Oh Jesus!
Go to A&E because you've got a broken leg because it's shattered it. Oh my my god. Right, let's move on. PlayStation's Spider-Man 2 will release in September, a voice actor claims. This comes from Andy Robertson over at VGC. PlayStation Spider-Man sequel is currently aiming to release in September, and actors claimed on social media. Tony Todd, who plays Venom, Tony Todd, amazing actor, absolutely terrifying in the... oh, God, what's it called?
Candyman.
What's it? Candyman. I was thinking Candy Cane, I don't know why. Who plays Venom in Insomniac. Let me start again. Tony Todd, who plays Venom in Insomniac's Spider-Man sequel, seemingly broke protocol on Tuesday by telling a fan that Spider-Man 2 release month looks like September. This is the same release window publishing sources have recently told VGC to expect the game. Looks like September. Massive publicity coming in August. Commercials start dropping in August. So I'm told, hold on to hold your breath. Gonna be necessary, Todd wrote. In December, developer Insomniac Games announced Spider-Man 2 was scheduled for release this fall. I could believe it. From the latest things that we heard about Spider-Man and previous news that came out, that the game's pretty much ready to go. Just, few bug crushing, final polishing. I'm shocked for a September release day. I honestly thought that would be a late November game. That would be their holiday game, but
it may still be,
yeah, it could be, but it also makes me think, we have got a PlayStation showcase upcoming. Jeff Grubb leaked that it's going to be before June, before the E3 season, so probably in the next month and a half.
To be fair, though, they've announced Starfield's release date now, haven't they? Though, and that he may have been told this before. The Starfield was only announced a week or two ago. So, if I was Sony, it won't really affect them because they're both on different consoles. One of them's PlayStation only, one of them's Xbox only. But do you want to go head to head in the same month? They might push it to the next month or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Or bring it forward a month. But it'll definitely be this year. Spider-Man's good because it doesn't take as much to do because they've already got the city made.
They
just have to give it a bit more polish every time, don't they, to make it worth your while. But the core city, it's the same, isn't it? They only have to do the new environments, the new enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I believe they've actually extended the city. It's going to be bigger, larger, more open. You can have access to more. So it'll be interesting to see. They did an amazing job with the PlayStation 5 remaster for Spider-Man. Looks absolutely beautiful.
I've downloaded that. I got the Miles Morales.
Miles Morales, yeah. You get the package, yeah.
I got the package, so I downloaded the remake, the remaster, but I haven't played it yet. But it does look at the pictures. It looks
beautiful.
You know what, though? I think them dropping it on the same day or within the same week as Starfield makes a lot of sense because Starfield is going to be a heavy hitter. And you're going to have people that are playing both PlayStation and Xbox, like a lot of us. And PlayStation wants to put as strong of an offering as they can to keep people off of Xbox during that weekend on PlayStation. They want people to say.
They might do.
I just feel like they want to go head to head with Xbox, and it's hard because if you remember, there were a lot of rumors floating around that when Starfield was still way in development, PlayStation wanted it as an exclusive, and of course they lost out because Xbox bought Bethesda. So what can they do now to combat that? They can release Spider-Man 2 on the same day.
Though, you do that, and you could end up with egg on your face because they do that. What happens if Starfield sells more because it's currently the most?
But it's not going to sell more though because it's on Game Pass. You're going to have a lot of people.
It's also on PC, and a lot of people on PC don't give a shit about Game Pass.
But isn't
I'm not saying the Xbox version will outsell it. That will be dead in the water.
Yeah, but Spider-Man 2 is not. Spider-Man 2 is not coming to PC yet, is it?
Exactly. But Starfield is. So Starfield has a better chance of selling more, in my opinion. Which they're both going to be amazing. I'm going to play Spider-Man over Starfield because Spider-Man is more my jam than Starfield. I haven't got 7 million hours of my life.
But
it doesn't look that interesting to me. It's not my sort of.
I will say this about PlayStation, though, and you guys will probably agree that PlayStation's marketing outside of Twitter is head and shoulders above Xbox. So if they're launching Spider-Man on the Spider-Man 2 on the same day as Starfield, I guarantee outside of Twitter, more people are going to be talking about it. I'd say 2 times as many people will be talking about Spider-Man 2 than are talking about Starfield.
I think Xbox might surprise us with Starfield. I think this is going to be that one game where they actually spend a bit of money. Because...
Yeah, I mean, but it just seems like they're very lackluster outside of marketing.
PlayStation outdo them. Like they have like the giant PS5s and the axes and stuff, and they had all of the undergrounds changed, didn't they, to the PlayStation logos and stuff in the UK last year or year before. They do a lot of cool stuff like that. Yeah, but I think we're gonna get a big push, and I don't want it. I was more bothered about Redfall. I think Redfall's a much more interesting game than Starfield. I'll die on that hill alone probably, but I'm not a big fan of big long Bethesda games. I never have been. I've never really got massively into Fallout. I quite liked Oblivion.
Yeah, no, I get it though. You remember when shortly after Fallout 4 released, there was a guy that said his wife was leaving him because he was spending like 20 hours a day on Fallout. I mean, that's the types of games they make, and not everyone has time for that.
No, I've got games that I could. If I never bought another game for the next 10 years, I'd probably not get through all the games I've got. Do you know what I mean?
I'm the same, exactly, yep. Yeah.
So I'm like, for me, I don't know, it's going to be a weird one. They could, like I say, they could want to like go all like old Primeape and start like pumping the chests and like at each other. You never know. It's going to be amazing.
How does it go?
Like that. That's what
Jesus.
They're going to start like throwing it down. It's going to be absolutely fantastic if that happens. But I don't know. They may just push it a little bit and have that clear air around November.
You know what? I think that this whole ABK deal is really forcing PlayStation's hand, because if it wouldn't have been for ABK, they still would have been coasting a lot. And PlayStation had a lot of momentum at the end of last generation. But now with ABK, they're like, shit, we have to start competing head on. One of the ways you do that, Spider-Man 2 against the strongest entry of the year, because they want to send a message. It's all about sending that message that, you can play that on Xbox, or you can play Spider-Man 2, which is a phenomenal, known, proven franchise on PlayStation. It feels like once the ABK deal is done and the dust settles, that PlayStation's going to be fighting Xbox a lot harder. And I wouldn't be surprised if they launch a lot of their exclusives within 15 days of some of these heavy hitters from Xbox.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, it'll be interesting to see though. Like I say, I'm holding my sort of interest peaked, because like, who knows? I think after E3, we'll all be like, ooh, when all the shit goes down, basically. So.
And I feel bad for the developers of RoboCop Rogue City, because that's like the little third place in September. Everyone's forgetting about it because of Spider-Man and Starfield,
What you're on about? There's also a Story of Seasons game or something like that, or one of those type of games is coming out. So, everyone's going to be clearly playing that. But Starfield is out first week. You could literally go 4 weeks later and still be out in September. So, it wouldn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
But with as big as they say Starfield is, I mean, if you're only playing Starfield, you could play it till Christmas and you're still in Starfield. So.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it though, because Tony Todd as Venom sounds amazing.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. But it's one of them. I think, thing is, I think Spider-Man will do a lot, probably more wise if they release, say, within the same 10 days. Spider-Man's known worldwide. Everyone knows who Spider-Man is. He's probably one of the biggest heroes Marvel heroes that everyone knows, and one of them characters from films, TV shows, cartoons, games. Starfield's a new, untried, tested IP, so it'd be interesting to see. But I hope they do stick with a September release date. Maybe this is PlayStation saying, when Xbox is releasing one of their first party games, we're going to release a first party game just to they'll spit the dummy out and type, or maybe with this showcase that we're getting round E3 time or just before E3 time, maybe they've got something else big that's coming out for the holidays. Who knows? But I would have put Spider-Man as a holiday game.
PlayStation fans love we've got a direct coming. Like it's just, I hear it every week. Someone on Twitter says, "Oh, there's a big direct coming." It's like your badge of honours. I mean, did they give you it in the big manual of PlayStation fans?
Right. It's
true though. Like Xbox, they were like, "Oh, we might have a show. Or there'd probably be a Starfield one." That were it, and no one was bothered. But every week, there's going to be this killer PlayStation State of Play. Right, it's going to show everything, and then it's literally every month there's this killer PlayStation State of Play, and for 11 of the 12 months of the year, it doesn't happen until the E3 one. Why don't they just say, "Oh, they're going to do the E3 show around E3"? Like, no shit.
Yeah.
No, I like the smaller shows. I like when they do the State of Plays where it just gives you 2 or 3 games.
On those shows because we watched them and they're quite good. And like I say, I do enjoy them. It's just people online, they big up these PlayStation State of Play or the PlayStation State of Play. Guys, that State of Play is coming. That one, we know it's coming. We don't know when. I'm telling you, it's coming soon. I can't tell you when exactly, but I know. I have insider knowledge from my uncle's sisters, aunties, nieces, nephews, best friend's uncle's dog, that it is coming. And oh my God, it's just going to destroy Xbox every time. And I'm just like, it's just the E3 show. Just say it.
Yeah, they only do one big show a year, but because I think it's a bit more exciting this year on the PlayStation side for a showcase because it's more of knowing. It's more of knowing what's coming. Yeah, that's what I mean. All we know is Spiderman2. That is it.
And all the show is just an extended Spider-Man trailer, sort of pre-show, and the rest of it. Nothing else gets shown. I know they wouldn't.
A whole Spider-Man show.
Well,
it's an hour and a half of Spider-Man.
I know we talked about Xbox kind of playing lightly because of the whole ABK deal, but you got to wonder if PlayStation is doing that also. Like maybe not. They don't want to announce some of the projects they have coming up because they want to make it look like, oh, poor us, please, CMA, help us out.
We had like Silent Hill 2 remake, official like.
Yeah, but I'm saying they could have 10 huge games in development, but they're like, oh, here's 1, here's 2, just to maintain a little bit of interest. And then once ABK is decided, then they'll be like, oh, we have Twisted Metal and SOCOM and Infamous and all these games are coming back. And everyone will be like, oh my God.
I'd love another Infamous game. I miss the original. I like the originals. I played the Second Son. It was all right. It was okay. But it wasn't the originals. Did
you play First Light?
No, I didn't bother with First Light. I did the base game for Second Son, and then I just thought, I'm done with this game now. And
First Light was it was free a while back for PS Plus. I didn't know if I know you subscribed to PS Plus, so I wasn't sure if you'd picked it up or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I didn't bother. I tend to. It's only a handful of games I go back and play, and then that's it. But it's normally like years down the line. I've not played Jedi Fallen Order since release day, which was 4 years ago. So I'm going back to that because it's fully optimized. Well, it's optimized for the this gen console. I won't say fully optimized because that'll be lying. But it's optimized.
It's better than it was.
It runs. It runs. You can play it in 4K or you can play it in 60 frames, upscale to 1440p, I think. On either whether it's Xbox or PlayStation, they've literally got the same specs. There's now different in them, so I don't mind, right? Because the new one's coming out, right? So I want to go back and play the first one. Just give me a full refresher on the story, what happened, and then But I don't go back to many old games. But in fact, a game I did go back to a few months ago was the original Metal Gear Solid on the that PlayStation Mini Classic they released.
Oh yeah.
Wife bought me that, so I went back to play that and the original Twisted Metal and things. And They have not aged well. Not aged well at all.
And we still have not.
Console. It doesn't have the analog sticks.
Yeah.
No. How the hell did we ever play games with just a D-pad?
I know, right?
It's like impossible.
I tell you what, though, I was playing stuff on the Switch the other day with the kids. Oh my god, I'm gonna have some sort of arthritis soon from playing on the Switch. It's so small. Who tested it? I mean, they must have Donald Trump sized midget hands, like teeny little.
Jesus.
You cannot physically hold them. It just baffles me. It's horrible.
You know what? That's because you were used to the Duke controller. That's why.
I never had a Duke. I got my original Xbox later, and I had that slimmed down pad. So I've never owned a proper Duke, thankfully, because they're horrible. I've played one, but I've never luckily.
Yes, the Duke controller that looks like an original Nintendo controller in Redder's hands. Yep.
Red as the giant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Tell you what, though, I was playing that Final Fantasy rhythm game on the Switch on the demo when it came out. I couldn't even do half of it. I kept pressing wrong things because it's so small. So much better on the PS5 pad, I must admit. So.
Yeah.
And shout out to them. They've done it so you don't have to press specific buttons. So you just have to push a button, basically. It makes it so much easier. So it's just you don't have to press X. You just have to press one of the four, or even you can use the triggers or anything. So that's really cool for a rhythm game. It just makes it easier.
No controller will be as worse as the N64 controller.
No one knows how to use that controller.
Free handles on the thing. You know, you want to use the joystick. You got to hold it in one hand on the middle handle just to use that, and then try and move with the D-pad. Oh, it was an awful thing, absolute awful. Right, well, let's move on. A bit of sad news. Lance Reddeck, the actor behind Destiny Zavala, has died at the age of 60. Comes from VGC by Jordan Midlet. Lance Reddeck, the actor known in the gaming world for his roles in Destiny 2, Horizon Forbidden West, Quantum Break, has died at the age of 60. According to TMZ, the actor who shot to fame in roles on HBO's The Wire and John Wick franchise was found dead at his studio city home Friday morning around 9:30 a.m. local time. His cause of death is currently unclear, but our law enforcement sources says it appears to be of natural causes. Reddeck has been due to appear on the Kelly Clarkson show to promote his role in John Wick 4. Reddeck was also best known in the game world for his role as Commander Zavala in the Destiny franchise. You know, really good in that. Good actor, good voice actor. The actor played a central role in Destiny 2 since its release and featured heavily in several of the expansions, including his last and most recent one, Lightfall. Reddeck is also known for playing Silence in the Horizon series games, where he provided both voice and facial capture for the character. Aside from John Wick, Reddeck was due to play Zeus in the upcoming Disney Plus series Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and he also played his name's gone. I've lost it. It's just cut off. But he was also in Quantum Break as well, which again was amazing. Quantum Break was an amazing game. I liked how they did the TV show of it as well as the game. And it was really, really good. He was an amazing actor. He had just a presence about him in all the roles that he did. And he was a gamer. He was a big gamer and enjoyed playing games. And I do believe, as sad as it sounds, the day before he passed away, he was actually playing Destiny 2, which is a shame. But how did you know his work, guys? Did you play any of the games that he was in? I think we've all probably played Quantum Break. I think Sentinel. What do you think?
Yeah, I did play Quantum Break, and he was great in his role in that. Obviously, I mean, he is known for his roles in gaming. I think obviously he's better known for most people for his roles in movies. The most notable one, obviously, was his role in John Wick. And he was a great actor. He was just, from everything everyone said about him, he was genuinely a great person. And it's unfortunate to see someone who's not that old. I know he was like six. He was like 60, right? But that's not really that old when you think about all the advances in medical technology and stuff. And it's just, it's unfortunate to see someone who actually cared about gaming, who was actually lending their voice to a number of video games that are memorable to so many people, as well as a tremendous actor, pass away out of nowhere. It's just very unfortunate.
Yeah. It's just such a shame. Such an amazing actor, and sadly missed because he was quite fit and healthy. Because he did posted a lot of videos on Twitter when he was doing like health routines and things like that. So
yeah,
it's just so sad to see. Ash, obviously not so much on the Destiny, but did you play Quantum Break? And you touched on the Horizon series, didn't you? Did you play the first one, second one?
Yeah, I did like Quantum Break. I thought it was really good. It's just a sad shame, isn't it? Really, we've been watching John Wick's. Well, I was watching them on Amazon, but then they removed them like yesterday or the day before. So, fucking, what sort of subscription service has all the movies that you want to watch, like when they're about to be like really important and interesting again because the new one's coming out, and then lets them go?
Yeah.
So thanks Amazon, I got through 2 of the 3, and I'm now going to have to watch the third one in another way. Probably with me an eye patch on or something because I don't. Maybe it's on Netflix now. Who knows? They jump around, but really good. He's really good in John Wick. I want to watch the Resident Evil TV show. I know it's terrible, but he's supposed to be really good in it, like the best bit of it. So
yeah, he's definitely got that. I started watching the Resident Evil series, but I just couldn't watch it after like the first 2 episodes because it was very. You'd have more excitement watching paint dry. It's that bad, but he's brilliant in it. His character, the way he plays, it's really really good. It's just a shame the TV show's rubbish.
Yeah.
But it is. He's a really good actor, and it's just such a shame that he's gone. I do believe if you do go on his Twitter, there is, if anyone wants to donate to the charity that he worked alongside with, there is a link on there. And he'll be sadly missed, and it's a shame that we're no longer going to see him in games, gaming, and on TV and film anymore. But yeah, rest in peace. Right, let's swiftly move on from the sad news to possibly a bit of good news, depending how you like multiplayer games. The new Witcher multiplayer game has the development rebooted. This is from Mike Straw from Insider Gaming. The new multiplayer Witcher game from CD Projekt Red Studio, the Moseless Flood, has been rebooted. Known as Project Cyrus, the game's reboot reveals comes directly via CD Projekt Red itself. The company announced on Monday its decision regarding the establishment in the company's books an impairment allowance with regard to expenses incurred in the scope of development work related to Project Cyrus, which is under development at the Flood Studio. I'll just call it Flood Studio because it's easier. CD Projekt Red spent over $7 million in 2022 on Project Cyrus development. In 2023, the company has spent over $2.2 million on it. With this news, it appears CD Projekt Red is eating the cost in order to make the new Witcher game that it needs to be. The aforementioned decision is based on results of evaluation of the scope and commercial potential of the original concept of Project Cyrus and ongoing work on formulating a new framework for this project, the company said in a statement. Would any of you play a multiplayer Witcher game? Is it more? Do you think it's going to be an MMO or like a live service where it's jump in, jump out? Ash, come to you first. What do you think? Do we need this game? Would you rather just some put everything
I've
into a
never
single
played
player game?
a Witcher game. I own 2 and 3. I've not played them, but so for me,
Really?
I don't care. I mean, yay, nay. Depends what it's going to be. Like I love fantasy games and I do like multiplayer games, but what's it going to be like a medieval? What is it? Battle royale? What we getting? Is it going to be one of those like horrible where they're not MMOs? They are survival, massively multiplayer survival games like Conan and all that shit, where you just run around naked building rubbish structures to hide in all the time. I mean, I don't know. It depends what it is. Is it going to be like an arena sort of fighter game, sort of similar to maybe what's that? The medieval fighting game or that Robin Hood game? Is it going to be similar to that? I don't know. If
Yeah,
it
yeah.
works, as long as if it's, in my opinion, it has to be free to play because if it's multiplayer only, you can't ask people to pay for stuff. In my opinion, nowadays we're in that sort of thing where if you have a pay tier to get into a multiplayer only game, if it's not an MMO like with ongoing updates like Destiny or Stardew
Yeah.
Valley or something like that, no one's going. You're going to have a low player base, which means you're then not going to pump out extra content, which means it's going to die. So you either make it free with regular content to keep it alive, or you have like a cash store. And either way, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? But depends on what it's going to be,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, yeah. It depends. I'd sooner just keep The Witcher how it is.
Yeah, it just
I
doesn't
don't
need it,
want
does it?
to. Yeah, I can imagine it's going to be a battle royale type game, and The Witcher, amazing story, amazing worlds, the content, the stuff you can do, amazing. But the combat is awful. The combat is just. You remember? There's a game. It was on Game Pass a while back. It was a bit like it was a medieval game. One team was defending the castle village. The other team
Chivalry.
was chivalry. Yeah, it's the combat's like that where you're just swinging and hoping for the best. That
Yeah,
clumsy swinging. That's what it feels like to me. Just swinging it like that, and it's
yeah.
like,
That's what I
ugh.
mean. Medieval can either work or it can't work. Do you know what I mean? So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a 1v100 sort of thing. One of you plays as Geralt running around naked, and everyone else throws coins at you, and that's it. And you've got to just sort of like collect all the coins. Who knows?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Sentinel, what about you? You play the Witcher franchise? Would you like to see a Witcher MMO?
I don't play the Witcher franchise, but with that being said, I respect how quality of a franchise it is. I know it has a lot of big fans. It's kind of like Skyrim. I played it. I didn't really, and I did play Witcher 3 a little bit. It just didn't resonate with me, but that doesn't mean that I think it's a bad game at all. I think it's a very good game, and that they have a lot of lore, and the world that, of course, CDPR has crafted is phenomenal for that game. But with that being said, not every phenomenal franchise needs to be a massive multiplayer online type of game. I think CDPR is kind of eager to avoid negative publicity and backlash from fans, especially after how Cyberpunk launched and it was so shit for so long. They want to avoid that, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of microtransactions or other stuff basically that's pulling money out of people's pockets. I think they're going to want to be in gamers' good graces as much as possible, and I do think if there is some type of MMO that it's kind of going, in my opinion, I haven't researched it, but I think if they wanted to do this properly, you'd have something kind of like Destiny where people could go on quests together and you have a group of friends that tackle it's kind of like PvPvE, I guess, that's what you'd call it.
Yeah.
Where you might compete against other clans, but you also might team up with these clans to take down a huge boss or control computer controlled enemies, basically. I think if they did something like that, it would do really well. But if it's just like a massive online where you're fighting against other people, I think it's not going to go that far. That's just my take on that type of game.
I still don't get why they've gone for a Witcher multiplayer and not a Cyberpunk multiplayer, because Cyberpunk the whole setting reeks gang warfare and stuff like that. Like GTA Online-esque. You've got a futuristic GTA Online in like a cyberpunk future. That's literally what they could do.
Why do I have a feeling that some Rockstar guy is writing this shit down right now? You'll see it next week. You'll see it next week in Rockstar Games, and you're like, you motherfucker.
Didn't they cancel it? Didn't Cyberpunk have a multiplayer thing in the works, but they cancelled it with a load of the expansions they were doing?
Probably.
Yeah, I think they cancelled that.
To me, that seems the more appropriate for multiplayer if you were going to do anything multiplayer. So
yeah.
You could do a Cyberpunk Battle Royale. That would work quite nicely. You know, have a RPG Battle Royale. You know, do stuff, missions and that to level up your character, and then go into Battle Royale to duke it out. Yeah, that'd definitely be the better option than The Witcher. I don't fancy a Witcher multiplayer. Thing is, like with any live service and an MMO, you've got to dedicate time to it daily. You constantly got to keep playing to keep your level up, to do activities at higher levels, or you get left behind and no one wants to come back and help you. Destiny have kind of implemented this new system now where you kind of ranked. I think I'm rank 6. I'm classed as a veteran, so I can like go and jump in, help new players, get through, and you know, and they can see that I do. You know, I've been playing Destiny for a while, so I can help out and things. So you'd have to implement things like that to make it easier. But generally, like if I was to jump into Call of Duty Warzone now, half the time I'll get kicked because nobody wants to play with a newbie because they don't want their kill-death ratio, win-match loss to be hit. So you kind of get kicked from all them sort of things. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. Right. Last thing before we play 20 questions is the new releases coming to the PlayStation Plus service. These games are coming to PlayStation Plus Extra and Tier catalog for this month. We have Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. That is the PS4 and PS5 version. You get the Uncharted 4 Thief's End, and you get the spin-off one that they did. I can't remember the name of that one. But it's like 2 games in one, but definitely worth a play. Plays amazing, uses the DualSense, so I highly recommend that. Then we've got Teacher. I have no idea what that is. Teacher. Yeah. Not a clue.
Day one as well. It came out today. That it's the day one.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's a day one edition.
Oh, happy days. Everyone's favourite game, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yeah.
Don't think I remember playing that because it dropped in Game Pass day one, didn't it? And I there was I had a team of 3. We jumped in. It's awful. Played awful. It was. It literally. I think we uninstalled it 20 minutes after playing it. It was that bad. So, Ghostwire Tokyo, and this was the game that was made by. Was it
Tango?
Was it Tango Gameworks, which was a PlayStation 5 exclusive. This was before Microsoft had bought Bethesda, so the contracts were already in place. But this month it comes to both Xbox and PC, because I don't think it was originally on PC, was it? Yeah, so it drops
content as well.
With extra content.
Bringing out some update as well this month.
Yeah, and that drops onto the Xbox Game Pass service, and it also drops into the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium service. Life is Strange True Colors. Never played that series. I don't know if either of you have dipped into that.
It was probably my favourite game of the year when I played it. I'm a big Life is Strange fan, but it's like the first Life is Strange game that isn't janky. Like, the graphics are fantastic. The dialogue's much better. Like all the games are great, but that one was it's the pinnacle of them.
So, that's like the only one in the franchise I haven't played. I've played all the other ones.
I highly recommend it. Like I say, play through it. It's the weakest of the abilities, I would say. Like, no, the powers. You have the power to sense people's emotions.
So basically, you're Spanish, like my wife would say.
But it's a good story. It's in like this. It's set in this like mountain village, like mining village. It's really good. There's a spin-off novel got released yesterday for it as well, which is weird. But apparently the audiobook is voiced by the character's voice actor. So I was like, I'm gonna have to listen to this audiobook now. It's done by the proper character's voice actor. So
awesome.
That's pretty cool. I don't know what the book's about. I just saw it on Twitter quickly, so I've saved it. It could be terrible. It could be anything. It could be like
you just want to listen to her voice. You can touch yourself. That's all it is.
Steph is the best character in that game. She is. Once you play that game, you'll all know that Steph is the best character in True Colors.
Next, we got Immortals: Phoenix Rising. That's Ubisoft. I think that's coming to the Ubisoft
Assassin's Creed, isn't it?
Yeah. So that is, even though it says PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, I think it actually drops into the Ubisoft Classics part, which you get part of PlayStation Plus. Another Life is Strange game, Life is Strange 2. Is that before or after Colours? True Colours?
Right, that's the order. So there's one, and before the storm, they're connected properly. Life is Strange 2 is its own standalone story, but it does have odd things that do connect. A couple of characters are in it, but you can play all the games separately.
Right.
But 2 takes place before True Colours, I believe. Technically, you're going to play them one after the other, but you don't have to at all. They all have pretty standalone stories, bar the first sort of 2.
Right. All right. Fair enough. The next game is based on a cartoon, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
So not only do they do cartoons, but they do cartoon games as well. Well, that's all right, isn't it?
Wow.
Kakarot is a really good Dragon Ball game. I played it when it first came out to get the 1,000 gamer score on Xbox. I've not played the DLC though, but the core game was absolutely fantastic. It was like semi-open world, and then you went into like battles and stuff. Really well done for a Dragon Ball game.
Yeah, but it's RPG though, right?
Yeah, it's like mixing the fighting mechanics in the battles with like RPG stuff outside of the battles and stuff, doing side.
Yeah, that kind of killed the hype for me though for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, because I think I bought it. I played it a little bit and I was like, fuck, because I was used to the Budokai games, and so I was like, shit. I might play it eventually, but who fucking knows, right?
It's worth playing. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, it's pretty good. It is a really good sort of retelling.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. I'll say
good cartoon game.
Good cartoon game. We'll see. And next on the list, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition. I don't play Street Fighter games. I don't really play fighting games. I've not played Mortal Kombat since the original many moons ago. Not my kind of game. Well, it's got Untitled Goose Game. That's quite an old game now, really, isn't it? That was a Game Pass day one, I think, and all.
Still worth playing, though. Definitely.
It's where you honk at people or something to get them to do stuff, is it?
Piss them off, do stupid shit, steal someone's keys. Yep. If you haven't played it, it's a lot of fun, because the goose is like in trouble all the time and stealing shit he's not supposed to have and breaking stuff. But amazing. Of course, yeah, it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like
making him cry.
Yeah, it's fun though. It's a lot of fun.
Basically, it's just being a dick simulator, but as a goose.
Yes.
And then they brought out a co-op mode as well, which is amazing.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Oh,
it's basically it's one of those games where you can take your time and enjoy it to play through it from start to finish. But if you want to master it, you have to do it all in like a time limit. So it's quite good. You have like a list of to-do things, how to be a dick. and you have to do all of them to progress to the next level. But it's basically about doing it as quick as possible, really. But it's fun.
Oh, cool. Next on this, Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. I couldn't even tell you which that one is. There's that many Final Fantasies.
It's the one with the yellowy cover. I don't know. I've not played it, but it's the one with the yellowy cover.
Okay. Next is Rage 2. I thought that is not owned by Xbox now.
Rage 2
series.
Yeah, but the Rage games, of course, are multi-platform, so you know.
But I'm surprised they've let it drop into PlayStation subscription service.
I mean, Microsoft likes money, so it's going to happen.
Well, yeah, true. Next on the list, Neo, The World Ends With You. Again, not a game I've ever heard of. I'm assuming it's not the Matrix.
Apparently. It's not my type of game, but it's apparently decent.
Yeah.
It's been on Game Pass, I'm sure it has.
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever played it.
No, it's not. I'm thinking something different, I think.
No. And last on the list that's in both the extra and premium is Haven. I'm assuming that's kind of like an indie type game. I have heard of it, but I can't remember what the game is.
It's the one where you play as two characters. You can play like co-op, I believe, and you're on it's built to be played co-op. It's like a couple, and they're on like a space planet. I can't remember. It came to Game Pass, but it said it was better to play it with a friend, and I just didn't have a friend to play it with at the time. So
yeah, fair enough. And then there's free games that have come to the PlayStation Plus Premium Classics range. You have Ridge Racer Type 4, the PlayStation 1 version.
Ridge Racer.
Yeah. Ape Academy 2, the PSP version.
Nice.
And Siphon Filter Dark Mirror PSP version.
That's cool. You know, I always appreciate those little retro games that they put on there. That's cool. I like that.
It's still not enough. To me, what they offer for that premium and how much they charge a month for it is just not enough. There's not, whereas you'd think you'd have Metal Gear and Twisted Metal, maybe done slightly improved graphics-wise than put in there. But no, you haven't got anything like that. It's all these games that just isn't worth the money. The extras like, you can tell it's the sweet spot, and that's where they're putting most of their time into. Yeah. But that premium tier shouldn't exist. I would have just made it.
There's so many PS1 games on the PS3 that you can't even get on the PS5 at the moment. Like, bring them. Silent Hill 1. All the Resident Evils.
Fuck that. Bring PS3 to PS5 and make it downloadable. How about that?
Well, that as well. But the fact that the PS1 games that existed, there's literally digital versions that they could be using for this subscription service that they aren't, basically, is what I mean. You could easily add a couple more a month.
I wonder if we'll ever get Thrill Kill. Do you remember that game? Thrill Kill got banned. Oh, well, it got banned in nearly every country because it was ultra violent. There's this one, I still remember it. There's a guy that beats you up with his arm because he's got his arm ripped off, or there's the other guy in the straitjacket. And then there was the nurse. She killed you by sitting on your face in a little miniskirt, moaning very sexually, and then snapping your neck. Oh, crazy.
I don't think that ever actually officially came out. I think it leaked out, but I don't think they actually released it in the end.
I had the copied version. Remember, we used to have to plug the box into the back of the original PlayStation and the little spring, because you had to play a normal game, take that game out, and then select and put your copied game in. God, they were the days.
I honestly think that it never actually came out. You could only get it on copy in the end.
Yeah, because I think literally got banned everywhere. Oh, well. But yeah, that's the games for March in the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium service. Right, let's move on to end the show with 20 questions. For anyone that doesn't know, Video Game 20 Questions, the panel has 20 questions to guess the the game that I have written down. I can only answer yes and no. If stuff's I could be a little bit vague on some things. If they ask the game and it's wrong, they automatically lose, whether they ask it on the first question or the last question. But the last question does have to be the guess. So, with that said, let the questioning begin.
All right, so since this is a PlayStation show, the game automatically has to be a PlayStation exclusive at one point. Yes?
No.
So it can be multi-platform.
Are you asking that as a second question?
Well, I mean, no, I'm not. I mean, I'm.
He was asking about the rules of the game. I don't think that's any questions.
Yeah, that's not.
No. You've we'll just count that as one. So no, it wasn't exclusive.
Okay, well, that's good. That kind of answers the second question anyway. So, one question answered with two. That's straight. That's straight. You're up, Ash. Go ahead, man.
Oh, I haven't got a clue. Is it classed as retro?
No.
Right. You do know retro means like PS3 backwards, don't you?
Would you class it from PS3? I would say retro, anything going back to the older consoles.
Technically,
Personally,
it's anything over 15 years, I believe, retro now. And that is a PS3.
Is it? Well, if that's the case, if you were classing retro as a PS3 and before, then the answer is yes.
So it's probably on the PS3 generation there, Sentinel.
Yep, I figured that. Okay. And it's not an exclusive title.
It might not even be a PS3 game.
Yeah, it probably is. So, is it rated M for mature?
That would be 18 here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me double check, but I think yes. That'll be a yes.
He's looking at the back of BioShock like, what is this rated? No, I'm just playing.
One sec. Let me just be 100% sure.
Yeah, because BioShock 2 was rated T for teen. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, I don't think you'd pick BioShock again after the debacle from last time.
Yeah, so M for mature, 18, yes. So that is, yeah. I was right. I just wanted to be 100% because I didn't want to then start accusing me of leading you astray again.
Yeah. So you're up, Ash.
I'm having a think. And you're wrong if it can still be retro and online, and it is retro. If it's in Retro Gamer, right, and they cover it in Retro Gamer, it's fucking retro. So don't like it, take it up with the official retro publications, guys.
Right.
So you just don't like the fact that we're all fucking old now, and the PS3 is fucking ancient, and the Xbox 360 is technically ancient as well. We're all just old guys. Just got to admit it.
But just to clarify, even though we're talking, you said retro's class from that generation, doesn't mean it first released.
Yeah.
On them consoles.
Yeah, it could be a ported game. It could have come out on an earlier console,
like San Andreas. Yeah,
it could be a newer game that was cross-gen. Though, consider that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it could be. This is the problem you're always going to get. So, I'm trying to think.
It's not an exclusive. It released on an older generation.
It's a mature game.
It's a mature game.
I'm gonna waste one of your Sentinel. I apologize.
That's cool.
Has it been remade or remastered?
No.
Right.
That's actually a good question because if
I
the
was
game,
thinking-
a lot of times if a game isn't that good or it's very niche, then it's not going to be remade or remastered.
Yeah, I thought he might have gone Resi 4 to sort of tie in with Resident Evil coming out this week, but he's obviously not that cool.
I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it may or may not have a optimization or an enhanced patch on the newer consoles.
I'm not
classing
an optimized patch. I mean, they haven't tried to charge me twice for it, basically.
No.
That's fine. Mature game. Playable. He's given that away there, though, that it's playable on modern consoles there. So, and he said a modern patch, which probably means it's an Xbox game.
Yes.
So, well, thanks for that, BMG, for freebie.
But it's not exclusive.
It doesn't matter, but it narrows it down massively when it's an Xbox.
Because PlayStation, I don't think would optimize it.
No.
So basically, it's in the Game Pass lineup and it's not an exclusive.
Yeah. But you've also got to remember a lot of PlayStation games that are backwards compatibility also got enhanced patches for like 60 frames.
You don't you try and cover it up.
I'm helping you. I don't want you to lead too far astray. Right, you are my flock. I am your shepherd.
Was the publisher an American publisher?
No. That's 5.
Capcom or something, innit?
Yeah, like something like Capcom, Square Enix, Ubisoft, something like that.
Square Enix don't make mature games.
I mean, shit. Didn't they used to make Deus Ex? What is that, mature?
No, I think it was a 15. I think here in the UK, if I remember rightly.
You just said it's not American, didn't you?
Yeah, no, it's not American.
For some reason, I was like, oh, maybe it's Max Payne. I'm like, why is it's an American?
Well, I mean, technically, Rockstar Games is UK, right?
It's Scottish.
There you go.
Scottish.
I don't want to waste my guess yet, though. I fucking love Max Payne 1.
You could narrow it down to, well, never mind. I mean, I was going to say narrow it down to genre, but it's pretty much going to be either shooter or action if it's fucking rated M for mature. It's not going to be like a racing game, I don't think.
Is it first person?
Yes.
Right. So Mad Max is out the window.
And all 40 games of Call of Duty are out the window, too.
No, it is first.
Yeah, but it's just not an American developer.
Ah, yeah. Glad you fucking know what you're on about.
Evil Arts is out, too.
First person. So it gets rid of like all the horror games, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or a good majority of them. Was it a launch title for its respective system at the time?
No.
Right. That's stuff like Condemned out of window as well. How many questions are we on now?
That's 7.
Oh, we got loads. I mean, I'm
Did
thinking like 15 here.
Did it release before 2008?
No.
So that narrows the window essentially from 2008 to like 2012.
Yeah. I would say that's probably not retro then, but hey, where we go.
But just remember what I said. Just because it's on the console you're thinking doesn't mean that's the console it released on. It could be cross-gen.
Yeah. Yeah, babe. All right.
Well, that's why I said, did it release prior to 2008? You know. So did it originally release before 2008? You know, that's obviously the question. See, so there you go.
clearly Minecraft in it. That's what it is.
Yeah, right. I don't think that's rated M for mature. Not yet, anyway.
Depending what you build.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm trying to remember what year this game came out.
Well, and of course I have ideas for first-person shooters, but Japanese companies aren't really known for first-person shooters, as far as I know.
I mean, it doesn't have to be Japanese though. It could be European. It could be UK.
But just to clarify,
I'm thinking it's Ubisoft.
Just to clarify, you didn't ask if it was a first-person shooter. You just asked if it was first-person.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It could be something like Fatal Frame, obviously.
Yeah, but what Fatal Frame would it be?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've played any of those.
You could always ask if it's part of a series.
Is it part of a series? Go on then.
No.
Well, there you go. It's not Fatal Frame.
And it cannot be American, so it has to be outside of the United States. Was it put out by a major publisher?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's leaning heavily towards Ubisoft. I mean, and they only have like one or two first-person shooters, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's 10.
Okay, so the game.
I think I know what it is. No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not. I'm wrong. Shut up, Ash. No.
Well, I mean,
go. It's going to be something crap. It's going to be like, it's not a first-person shoot. It's going to be one of those first-person fighting games, like crap, like not Fist of the North Star, but there's that shit Xbox fighting game, wasn't there, where it was like first-person.
Yeah.
He's probably done the proper dredges on us.
Well, he said it wasn't exclusive, though. He said it wasn't exclusive.
I wouldn't pick a game that I didn't think yous would know. I'm not that bad.
All right, I'm a bastard.
And you said it's not part of a series.
That's what I mean. It's the series thing. I'm like, what could it be?
Yeah. Well, now that's difficult because it's like most of the games that aren't part of a series are absolute shit. That's just how it is. So now, unless you're a true gamer and you've played like 10,000 games, you probably aren't going to know this.
And it's not been remade, has it? You said it hasn't had a remake or a remaster, like a proper full-on.
No, it has not.
It's not 13. Oh me.
Well, you've got 9 questions and a guess. So I don't know, maybe narrow down the publisher or developer or genre, something like that.
Well, the problem is some companies like Ubisoft, back in the PS3, PS2 generation, they were throwing a lot of shit at the wall just to see what sticks. So you might have a game from them that's a major publisher that only like 500 people have heard of.
Let's try and narrow it down. Is it a horror game?
Yes.
Right, that narrows it down a little bit, I suppose. I'm trying to think. First-person horror games. What have I played that's first-person? That isn't a franchise and it's a one-off.
Oh, there was that.
What are those? Is it based? Is it a licensed property?
Yes.
I think I might know what it is. It's that fucking game. What's it called? What's that film called now? In the bloody woods. Oh, what's it called? The camera in the woods.
Oh, you're thinking the fucking
Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, but that game came out on the Xbox One though. That wasn't on the Xbox 360.
You didn't say it. Yeah, I suppose. What else could it be?
I mean, there's the Clive Barker's fucking Jericho shit. So.
Oh yeah, there was that as well. Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember the view, whether it's first or third person though.
I think that was first.
Yeah.
But who made? It's Codemasters. British.
Again, Ubisoft could have been making that shit because they were making all kinds of shit.
Is it Clive Barker's Jericho?
Are you sure you want to ask? Because if you're wrong, you lose.
Oh, is it? No, I can't use it as a guess.
No.
Is it
If
made
you
by
guess a game-
Codemasters?
No.
It's not Clive Barker's Jericho, is it?
Damn.
That was a good guess. Good idea, that though. That was a good one.
I already know how BMG picks these titles. He looks at the 25 most obscure titles from 3 generations ago. And that's where he picks them.
No. I'll give you a small hint. When you asked it was horror, yes, it's horror, but you would class it as a survival horror.
Every horror is a survival horror because you're trying to survive.
Wait, all right. I'll even give you a little bit more of a hint, more than I should. You'd also class it as sci-fi.
It's not Dead Space because Dead Space is third person.
Yeah.
And Dead Space just had a remake.
Yeah, that narrowed it down quite a bit.
And you can't say it's Alien versus Predator or any game like that because that's more action oriented.
It could be, Is it a fucking Alien game? From where you fucking hide in the fucking cupboards and shit.
I know.
And there's so many horror sci-fi games, though, isn't there?
Yeah,
Not many that are 18, though.
Not many that are 18? I don't believe you there. I might be wrong.
Resident Evil is rated T for teen, in case you didn't know. Yeah, Outlast is rated E for everyone. Let the kids play it before bedtime.
It's a licensed property, isn't it? So it could be that Alien game.
Oh no! Hopefully he's not thinking of Colonial Marines because that was probably pretty bad.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Well, he said it's not. It's not part of a. It's not part of a franchise, I think, or he said that it's not multiple titles. No, I think in the franchise.
No, you asked if it's part of a series, and this isn't part of a series.
Well, I mean, I guess every Alien game is standalone, kind of.
I think we should go with Isolation. That came out on 360. I'm sure it did.
I thought it came out in 2014. No, you know what though? It might have come out on the Xbox 360. It might have.
I'm sure it came out on the last gen as well. Let's just do it because we're all going to die of starvation of waiting to get the answer here. So
yeah. Go ahead.
Go on then. Is it Alien Isolation?
Correct. Alien Isolation, developed by Creative Assembly, published by Sega. It's released in 2014 on the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. Also released on the Switch, Luna, iOS, and Android. But it's because like I say, it's first person. It's not really you can use a couple of weapons, but you don't really.
I've not played it, so I like I say, I was trying to narrow it down. I was thinking about AVP for some reason. I had AVP in my head because I was like, that's on loads of systems.
Yeah, that's kind of like walking a fine line because it was 2014, so it's technically not retro. It
was on the 360, and that's my bad. But we'll go forward next time or whenever. we'll say, like, what do we want to say? Like, PS2 back is retro, and PS3 onwards is not retro. Like, what
Yeah,
do
well,
you?
what do you, well, I would say anything from PS2 backwards, I would class as retro.
That's fine.
Personally,
We're
but
currently,
it depends how you define it.
The problem you've got is PS3 is technically retro, but there's a lot of cross-gen, which means it's.
That's
which
why
makes it hard.
That's
Yeah.
why I was hinting when you were thinking that. That's why I was saying it doesn't mean it released on that. It could be cross-gen because I'm thinking I didn't want you to keep going back and back. So actually, it released, even though it released on PS3, PS4, 360, and Xbox One, it released in the PlayStation 4, Xbox One generation.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So
Almost had another BioShock on your hands.
No. That's why I was trying to, you are my sheep, I am your shepherd. I was bringing the flock back to the right field. I didn't want to send you over the hill to the slaughter. That's it for tonight's show. Hope you all enjoyed 20 questions. Obviously, when we've got quiet news weeks and stuff, that's what we'll be doing at the end of every show on the PSN Party podcast. We won't see it on the XBL because Redders won't do it. So
he doesn't vote, does he? He picks crappy topics for us, and then
it'd be good to play. I think one day I'm going to do it'll be a pre-recorded, maybe do 100 questions and have like 5 games, and you've got 100 questions to guess all 5 games. And
that sounds good.
If you guess one sooner, then you've got more questions over.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Something different. We'll figure it. We'll whether we do it live or pre-recorded, we'll figure that out. It's in the pipeline. That'll be fun to do. But yeah, that's it for tonight. Thank you, Ash, for being on. Thank you, Sentinel, my co-host, as always, for being on. Thank you. And that pretty much does it for tonight's show. You can find us all tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. GMT on the XBL Party Podcast. And just to make people aware, we'll probably remind you tomorrow, in the UK, the clocks go forward an hour on Sunday. So we then switch to BST, British Summertime, so we'll make sure we get all the American times right for everyone that's listening. Make sure Sentinel knows what time we're actually on, so he doesn't turn up an hour early.
Right.
But other than that, from us over on the XBN Network and PSN Party Podcast, good night, everyone.
Take care.